Hi, this is Marc with Raw Nutrition. In this video I'll be juicing for the first time, my first time. I didn't practice before, so I'm doing it with you. I'll be juicing with the brand new Hurom HH Elite model. This is the brand new slow juicer from Hurom. It turns at 43 revolutions per minute, and an improved bowl, redesigned bowl with a different way of functioning for the pulp, and to be able to squeeze out more juice. So we'll really see how this works. A redesigned screen and auger, so that'll be very interesting too. So I'll just get started. Like I said, it's my first experience, so we'll see how this goes. I noticed a few different changes. The pulp control lever, the previous model was just just plastic, basically solid plastic. The new lever is a stainless steel here with a silicone plug that is actually flexible. So when you want to juice, you will put it in the juice position. I know there can be some confusion about that, and some people have posted on previous videos I've made with the Hurom that I was juicing in the juice position with the outlet, the plug here, pushed in all the way. Sure, you could always put it in the smoothie position. You'll get a lot more pulp in your juice. So I'm putting it in the juice position because I want the least pulp. I'm making here in this first demonstration a vegetable juice, so I want juice. So before you install your bowl, you need to make sure your lever is in your juice position or your half juice smoothie position, and you just set that on there. There are no locking pins, it just sits on top. After that, you've got this new auger, and these two parts, the wing tips, will sit on top of the spinning brush. So you actually want to install these two parts together. There are 4 notches at the bottom of the screen here. They will go into the pins at the bottom of the juicing bowl. So you'll sit that right in there. And I've noticed it's easier to assemble when I push these two together. Then I go in and sit the notches. You can pretty much feel them, so you don't have to look for them. Then you know you're in. And then just sit your auger on top of the notches of the spinning brush. So there you go, make it turn a little bit. And there you have it. So I have everything installed, flush, ready to go. And I just put my top. I won't be needing the dust cover. That's for storage. So you'll basically lock with the 2 orange arrows together. So if I start off on the side like this here, and locked. So everything's in place, it should work. You should always run these with vegetables. So I just did a little quick on to make sure I was all correctly assembled. So there you have it. I will put in a juice position, and you'll notice the inner outlet is really small, so that'll be interesting to see how that works. I prepared my vegetables like I usually do. I didn't go crazy cutting everything too small. We won't be needing the smoothie screen. Do a demonstration with that later on. So great, so I'll just get started juicing. Again, this new model is 43 revolutions per minute, so I'll definitely want to take it easy and not put too much in at once. Give it a chance to process. The tolerance between the screen and the auger is supposed to be tighter. You're supposed to be able to juice more, get more juice out of your fruits and vegetables. So we shall see how that goes. The pulp should be drier. And I always like to alternate vegetables between the greens and the hard vegetables. That'll be the best when you're juicing with an upright slow juicer. Shouldn't really need to use the pusher, other than if you've got some greens you put in and you want to get them down. But you can use a vegetable to push your greens in. So the auger seems to be taking everything up pretty well, despite having the 2 wing tips, or the dual auger on the top, the dual blade I should say. Everything seems to be juicing pretty well. The pulp looks nice and dry. Definitely a little different texture than pulp in other juicers. Looks like it's getting squeezed more, processed more. Let's see how that goes in the final results. We'll put this juicer to the test compared to other juicers. We'll do our carrot comparison, where we usually do 2 pounds of carrots And most juicers we've been getting about 400 milliliters. So be sure to check the next video in this series for the Hurom HH Elite Juicer. Oops, got my beaten here. Get that out of there. Sorry about that. Okay. So I didn't do a practice run. I figured I would do it with you today and learn about the juicer at the same time. So a little tough there. With the flatter auger on the top, with the dual blade, I imagine it will require a little bit of pushing sometimes when it can't take things up on its own. So with this experiment, I won't be able to tell much about the yield compared to other juices. I will be able to tell about the texture of the juice, how much pulp is in. We will check that too once we're done juicing. See how much pulp is in the juice. The manual does mention, or the specifications do mention, that the pulp that does end up in the juice is smoother than the previous model because of the tighter tolerance and the squeezing that's happening. That is better or more effective than the previous model. See, I'm not juicing too quickly. This model does have a reverse button, so if ever you did put too much in, you will be able to reverse and forward. So it does have a different sound than the previous model, and you're seeing the squeezing sounds a little different. There's really no movement. It looks really solid. Some of the other juicers, when they're juicing, you're seeing some movement. I'm not seeing any movement. This new motor is definitely strong, and the slow turning aspect at 43 revolutions per minute certainly makes a difference for that. But as you can look closely, there's really no swaying. And I mean, the pulp, there's very little pulp here. Usually when I do this juice, I have a lot of pulp. There's no blockage, so everything seems to be going well. It's very interesting. Oh, I just got some pulp spit out at me. That's interesting. And it spit all the way here on my juice bowl. Well, as long as everything's flowing, I can keep going. There must have been some compacted pulp there and pushed it out. There's mention in the manual, I reviewed the manual before starting, that there is a fair bit more pressure inside this juicer. So when you're done, it may be a little harder to remove. Doing reverse will help release that pressure. So we'll see how that is when we're done juicing. I definitely see a difference in the amount of pulp. I like to do this juice pretty much every day at lunchtime. Well, and it basically also mentions to let it process until it's done putting the juice out. And it's interesting to notice how the juice is coming out in spurts compared to the other models that more kind of have a consistent flow. So this is very interesting. I'll reverse and forward. And also, it's supposed to have less pulp residue. Since it is an auger or screw type juicer, usually the last things you put in don't seem to get processed as much. They stay on the top because usually you just keep adding stuff and it will push that down. So it doesn't have, it's supposed to now, because of the tighter tolerance, not have as much residue around the auger. I like the juice. I mean, it's really quiet. Definitely quieter than the other ones. Okay, we'll open it up and we will check inside. So I've got no problem releasing it. There's no pulp inside here. Let's look inside here. I will close the juice cap and not make a mess. See if I can lift this out. Maybe a bit of pressure. Oh, it's coming out pretty well. So So here's what we have at the bottom of the juice bowl. Just a little bit of pulp, a little bit of juice here, let out. Sit that back on there. And here's the inside. Let's go see what we have. Put that up here. And there you have it, the inside and the pulp that is left over. So there is some pulp. It's definitely smooth, well crushed, and there is still some pulp inside. And that's really inevitable, but they say there's less than the previous models. And this auger is hollowed out. I do see some pulp build up inside here. So there's some of the pulp that didn't come out. So pulp does go up in here. And there you have it. Alright, now let's check out how much pulp this leaves. I like to filter my juice, especially if I'm doing beets, because I have found that fiber to be a bit abrasive, scratchy to the throat. So let's see what we have. So the pulp is definitely smooth. You could drink this compared to the other juicers where it's kind of chunky. This is definitely smooth. I can feel it. It's like a little puree. It's not rough or hard at all. So I doubt if I left this in there that it would be scratchy like with the other upright juicers. Very smooth and, well, really not that much pulp. Pretty much what I find in others is the pulp, the texture is very different. So you could probably drink that without any issues. Perfect, and now the taste tests. Let's see if this produces a better tasting juice. Okay, let's try that out. Very good. I can't see much of a difference. Having filtered it, there's definitely no pulp. Very nice, very agreeable. So I'll put this juicer to the test and do numerous demonstrations, and definitely I will use it at home every day and get to know it a little better. But right now I can say it looks really good from what I see so far. So again, this is Mark with Raw Nutrition. Be sure to subscribe to our videos here on YouTube. We'll be doing more demonstrations and comparisons, and check us out online at RawNutrition.com.